So game number 3 between Sam and Wookl. I believe they played French versus Japan just prior to this, because when I joined the lobby, that's the matchup that they had selected. Wouldn't really surprise me if that was a matchup they played. Seems like one that would be fairly even and fairly balanced. So spawning in the top side of the map in the color red, playing the British civilization, is Wookl, a player that I know fairly little about, aside from having just seen him around a little bit. Update the scoreboard to be the correct score. And he'll be playing the Brits on the north side of the map in the 12 o'clock position. His opponent in the south 6 o'clock position, Samwise12, the Titan, the King, and the one and only, playing the Russian civilization. And well, he's going to be down here. Like I mentioned, 2-0 currently for Sam, and going to immediately be prioritizing picking up those llamas. We can see going to be even using one of those llamas to do a little bit of additional scouting. I'm going to be trying to pick up as many of these llamas as possible. Certainly, one of the nice little bonuses on this map when there is no trading post is to try and pick up as many of those llamas as possible. And it looks like currently Sam has successfully picked up 3 of them. Going to be picking up a 4th here as well, it looks like, and Wookl having not picked up any just yet. Still looking for his first one. Looks like has seen one in the fog there a little bit, but has not been able to pick it up just yet. And well, like I said, when there's no TP, having any sort of extra little economic bonus that you can get is certainly nice. Looks like Sam did miss this one back here, but perhaps can go and refine that one down there, or maybe Wookl will happen across it and pick it up himself. Looks like he is going to happen across it, but should he be able to get it all the way back across the middle of the map back to his base, that will be the real question. And something we'll find an answer to. Looks like Wookl did pick up 3 of them total. If he can successfully convert these, get them all back to his base. But Sam picking up a nice little 90 food treasure, and this is what I expect more on this map. Right, this right side to be less explored for the first several minutes of the game, while the players rush to pick up the various treasures here in the middle, or pick up the treasures in the middle, in the llamas on the left-hand side of the map. Wookl picks up a 30 coin treasure, 90 coin currently being worked on here, guarded by a couple of wolves for Sam. Normal shipments coming out, 3 settlers coming out for Wookl, and distributivism coming out for Samwise12. I'm curious to see how Sam will play this matchup. There's kind of 2 trains of thought, both basically rely on the same principle. You don't want to allow your opponent to freely boom if you're Brits. I mean, this is a matchup that if Brits' economy gets out of control, and their mass gets too big, they're just going to roll you over. So Russia traditionally wants to try and apply some pressure, keep you penned up in your base. And it looks like Sam has intentions of doing that as we see these villagers stepping their way forward. And we'll see how aggressively this blockhouse gets placed down. And certainly on this map as well, worth noting that we kind of mentioned this in the Agrafort game where Prince of Kabul was playing India and placed down the Agrafort in the middle portion of the map. Anytime you can secure extra portions of this middle part of the map really helps to kind of choke everything up, just because it is relatively narrow, all things considered. And if you can get some aggressive pressure down your opponent's face, you can secure a lot of this middle hunt, middle mines for yourself. You can see just by proxy of having this blockhouse up here, I would argue these 4 coin mines are significantly safer for Samwise12. And he'll at the very least have pretty decent vision of when his opponent were going to try and harass those. Still decent amount of hunts available here in the middle portion of the map, but this blockhouse is going to be put down right up front, with a lot of aggressive intentions, it looks like, for Samwise12. Certainly, the wall segment is going to see anything that were to come here for Wookl, but realistically, I think most people can expect fairly static things coming out of that blockhouse. Things like 5 Cossack shipments and muskets are almost certainly going to come out very early on in the game. We'll see what Sam does, see if he sends that 5 Cossack shipment, starts to immediately dial up the raiding pressure. You can see the outpost coming from the governor age up for Wookl, being put down in a very defensive location, stable starting up here right away as well. Kind of a traditional British approach to dealing with the Russians. 700 wood almost certainly going to be coming as the first card. To be able to drop down that barracks and get some more manor houses, maybe a couple longbows in the mix as well. And we'll see what Sam does as well. I'm curious to see whether or not it's going to be 700 wood or 5 Cossacks. And it looks like we'll find that out in just a moment here. See just how aggressive his intentions are. And it looks like the answer is pretty damn aggressive, because there comes 5 Cossacks and they're immediately sprinting forward. Going to be able to pick up 1 villager here with no problems. A second villager going to go down as well for Wookl when the reinforcing muskets are added into the DPS. And only 3 hussars coming out in the first part of this batch. Makes for a fairly tenuous situation here already for Wookl. We can see his herding has not been very great. His hunt is fairly exposed. All of this hunt, although fairly safe, is very far from town center, very far from any outpost, anywhere to hide those villagers. And as a result, it could be fairly easy for Sam to apply some pressure to that. Looks like Sam is going to kill this wall segment that was right outside of his base, resulting in quite a bit of vision that was right out front of his base as well. So going to be able to tear that down, and going to be able to continue to apply a little bit more pressure out here at the front side of his base, and can continue to raid around here with these 5 Cossacks as well. So looks like 700 wood going to be coming next for Sam. No 4 Cossack shipments, so no immediately continued pressure, but an aggressive agenda to be sure here coming out of Samwise12. The barracks is up, the stable is up, muskets have been trained, so looks like Wookl going to be able to be pretty stable behind this, but is kind of penned up, and the big waiting game will be when this hunt runs dry. How does he secure his next hunt? And does Russia just kind of wait for this hunt to run out and then try and apply pressure to the next hunt locations? Because if you look at the next hunt locations for Wookl, well, they're all spread out. There's not really a lot of real estate for him to work with once this hunt runs out. And I mean, as a British player with a lot of villagers and booming fairly hard behind us, training hussars and muskets, which all cost a fairly large amount of wood, you do have to be a bit careful. Looks like, ooh, Sam's Cossacks going to get caught out here a little bit. Going to get away with 4 of them. But once this hunt runs out, it's going to be kind of a dangerous situation for Wookl, because his next hunts are very, very extended. And unfortunately for him, this hunt isn't being controlled very well, and it's getting itself in maybe an even more precarious position as we speak. Sam, next card, 13 Strellet, are going to be marching their way on forward, and it looks like that's going to be his cue to be continuing to dial up the pressure a little bit more. Going to continue to play aggressively and try and get in there, deal some more damage with that next military unit shipment. Sieging down this house a little bit, applying a little bit more pressure to it, and well, Wookl doesn't really have that great of a response at this current time. If we take a look at the military unit counts for Wookl, has 8 hussar and 10 hussar and 10 muskets available to him. Could be trying to age behind this 700 coin coming out next. Does have a decent food bank, but I think that would be ill-advised. I think he'll just run out of resources before he's ever able to really get aged up and do anything with it. And so probably just using that coin to help reinforce units out of his stable, get some units out of the barracks, and continue this pressure, or continue to be able to deal with this pressure Sam stepping up here forward again. It has a pretty nice mass of muskets out here. And this is the kind of fight that Russia wants. Just kind of a little bit of controlled chaos. Starlet stepping forward, trying to deal with the muskets the best they can. The Hussar kind of out here on the island, not really adding much DPS to the back lines of Samwise12, and as a result going to be losing a lot of those Hussar. A couple of muskets flipping into melee to be able to deal with this one Hussar off to the left. Good control there by Sam. And pretty good unit positioning here, realistically, from Sam just in general. Minutemen coming forward, but it looks like that's not going to even truthfully matter that much. Wookl having a difficult time dealing with this pressure, and as a result might find himself just dying to this pressure in itself. Behind all this, we still have to consider at some point Wookl has to find a next hunt, and not only does he have to find a next hunt, but he has to break out of his base to get to that next hunt, and that's going to be, I think, a very difficult thing to do. 6 longbow shipment coming here forward. Boyers as well coming for Sam, going to be helping to buff up his Strela and Cossacks a little bit more, and this is just looking not very good for Wookl, taking what seems to be a pretty poor fight for him. His villagers fairly exposed, all of his military units now dead, and Sam looking to be in a fine position here to deal with this remaining army and the remaining villagers here as well. GG called by Wookl. Game number 3 in this best of 5 series, going over in fairly quick nature to Samwise12. 3 games to 0. Going to be picking up that victory against Wookl. And I believe that's the end of this series as well. I know it was a kind of a short one because we only caught the last little piece of it, but Sam executing well, showing that he is, of course, a force to be reckoned with, and moving on to the round of 32 as a result. A round of 16, maybe even as a result. I do want